I need to say that every second breath that we take is by the whales. We cannot talk about sustainability when 90% of the fin whales have been decimated.
Whales, because they travel from oceans to oceans, and they can go 2 kilometers down and then come up. They're constantly moving nutritions, and they're feeding phytoplanktons. And phytoplanktons are really critical for carbon sequestration. And without whales, we cannot breathe. Without whales, we cannot survive. And I don't know why we cannot just do these simple calculations. Every second breath that we take, we owe it to the whales. We will not survive without them.
What the hell is up, you guys? My name is Jamie Logan, and today I have an incredible activist, Anahita Babaei, who is going to talk to us about whaling today and break down what it is, what the problem is, and what we can all do to help. So without further ado, Anahita, welcome.
Thank you so much, Jamie. Thank you. As you said, my name is Anahita. I'm an artist and activist. I basically used to be a model, and I had a burnout, and I started to travel the world, and I saw what climate is doing. I mean, what climate change is doing to the planet, how many animals are just dying. I just started to read more and more about it, and then I just felt so sorry. I just felt that, of course, went through a depression like any activist, just seeing the reality of the world. And the more that I just dig into it, I felt like animals deserve a stronger voice, because not so many people are talking about loss of biodiversity and everything that's happening in the animal agriculture, and like not so many great vegan activists, which just makes me so happy also talking to you. Yeah, it's just like such an inspiring person for me. You are. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I feel the same way about you. I mean, you're a force to be reckoned with, and it's really an honor to have you here and to interview you. So what was it that connected you to animal rights in general? Just being that there's so many issues with the world, what was that connection for you?
Well, I've been vegetarian for 15 years, and then when I learned more about it, I realized, okay, no, vegetarian doesn't work. You have to be vegan. I've been really compassionate about animals, and to be honest, when it just, I can't not do anything about it. I have to do something about it, and then otherwise I can't live with myself. And what a better thing to do with your life than giving life, saving life.
You're dedicating your life to the issue that's happening in Iceland. Why?
Exactly.
What is the issue, and why are you dedicating your life to it?
I read a post from Seaspiracy that Iceland started whaling again. And I actually had no idea that Iceland is killing whales. And for me, a country with such a reputation about environment, taking care of the nature, it was mind-blowing for me. So I arrived here just to make a documentary with a friend of mine. He's called Micah Gadden, and we're actually making a documentary that's called Last Whaling Station. But soon we realized nobody in Iceland wants it. There's just one man doing it. There are just 2 boats actually that are still active. They're kind of old, so just like they call it, it's a dying industry, but still it goes on, and it doesn't make any sense. And we thought, why don't we start a campaign with all these people that are already active here? And the Minister of Food and Agriculture and Fisheries back then, Svandis, has already started to put a surveillance on these boats to realize how these hunts are actually happening. And then there was a report that came out, which was just mind-blowing. It could take up to 2 hours to kill one whale. And the average time of death was 17 minutes. They can kill pregnant whales, which 2/3 of them were actually female. So we're just like, it's a damage to next generations of the whales. And they also hunted a lactating mother, which says like a baby is just like probably never made it, you know. And they actually killed also one whale. I mean, they left a harpoon in one whale. They chased that whale for 5 hours, and then they never even managed to. It's just like, it's like an enormous amount of torture that they put the information in the Animal Welfare Committee here, and the Animal Welfare Committee of Iceland announced that there is no human way to kill a whale. So it's absolutely impossible to kill a whale
Anyone,
humanly.
right? Or anyone for that matter. Like, how do you put the words humane and then killing, even in the same
It's
sentence?
just like,
Absurd.
yeah, but just to even receive this from like a committee that is like a government-based committee in Iceland, to say that there's no way to kill a whale humanly, that was such a big thing. So everything, all the people, I mean, we started kind of like a public pressure campaign. We gathered, we made 16 short videos from top artists and writers in Iceland saying we do not want this. We had a petition with 600,000 signatures. We had Jason Momoa helping us, Hera Hilmar helping us, and it's actually the film industry started to boycott Iceland, saying that we're not going to go there, and everything, like with the help of everything, we managed to put a pause on whaling for the whole summer.
Wow.
But unfortunately, yes, but unfortunately, at the end of summer, the political pressure got really high, and this guy, that his name is Christian Lofsson, the last whaler of Iceland, he has so much political power, so he started to basically bully the left green, which the minister is from left green party, to reissue the license. I mean, to basically to resume the whaling. The whaling is started, and then there's nothing else we could do rather than chaining ourselves to the boat. So me and my friend Elisa, we just chained ourselves to the boats, and we were planning to stay long, but unfortunately they got all of my stuff. They took my water away, and there was no way that I could stay more than 2 days without water off there. And yeah, we saved a few more whales back then. And out of the quota of 150 whales per year, he could manage to kill 25 of them. And yeah, so sad. And there was also a violation. Again, they kind of canceled one of the boats half of the season because there's an animal welfare issue that's going on.
Right.
But still, there is no way to stop them. It's just, it looks impossible.
Why are they so headstrong about killing these whales? What are they getting out of it?
Well, it's basically is a trophy hunting. It's nothing more than that. Christian Lofsson is his father was a whaler, so for him it's some sort of an identity kind of issue. He would never just give up whaling for, there's no way. And he's been trying so hard because you know that the trading of endangered species is illegal based on the Vienna Convention, actually. So he cannot move this killing whale because he sells everything to Japan. Nobody in Iceland wants to eat whale meat. Everything is being sold to Japan. The Japanese people also do not want fin whales because it was so toxic. He lobbied, he raised the standard of toxicity so he can resell it again back to Japan. And during this time, he tried to sell it to African children. He's like a real life villain.
Seriously, he
Yeah,
sounds
and it's
atrocious.
yes, and it's impossible to go through any of the countries that have signed the convention of the moratorium. So he had to go through Russia, which after the war with Russia, it's impossible also to go through Russia after the war of Russia and Ukraine. So now he has to go all the way back down to take it to Japan.
It's like,
And
give it up, buddy. Give it up already.
yeah,
My
and
God.
also consumption of whale in Japan has went down 90%. And he started a new campaign of promoting having whale meat in vending machines.
In what?
Vending machines, yes. It's just insane. It's
A
mind blowing.
what machine?
Vending machine. Yeah. So they're just like vending machines with the photo of a whale on it, and then you can drop a coin and get a piece of whale.
Oh my goodness. I did see this. There was a viral social media video of those machines that dispense, you could get Coca-Colas, you could get waters, you could get, snacks. And now there's vending machines that you can get whale meat.
Yes, it's insane. And the rest of it, actually, the majority of it becomes pet food. Such a waste.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of this whale meat that they're getting, which number one whale is so massive, it takes over 2 hours just to gut them and to cut them up and whatnot. And they're killing many of them. It's like so much blubber and organs, and it's like nobody even wants this anyway. So that being said, I guess what other purposes are whales used for other than food?
I mean, there are so many byproducts of it. So for like a whale oil, there was whale beer that got banned here. Basically, this man, because he wants to continue whaling, he finds a market to just inject the meat into the, like also the bones and every other part, just inject it into the market, create a market to inject it in, and be able to sell it, be able to continue hunting. And there is a report recently that says that the last year's hunt is still in the freezers here. So yeah, so actually he has such a big problem selling them, but he still does it, and he loses 2 million euros per year doing this work.
He
Insane.
loses money.
Yeah, he's losing money. So there's no economic benefit. And so there's something that is called also Pelly Amendment, which is basically a political sanction that Iceland is under now by the US because of whaling. So there's so much. Actually, Iceland is losing money because of what's going on in whaling, but still they're protecting him, which is it's insane. It's
Okay,
insane.
well, it sounds like we can get some people on board to help support. I really want, what are some tangible actions that people can take, whether they're in the US, whether they're in Iceland? Give us some steps that people can do to help.
Certainly. Well, the situation right now, if I want to explain to you the political situation right now, because of the pause that happened last year on whaling, and the political pressure that was on the minister, this whaler, with the help of Independence Party, managed to basically kick the minister, our lovely minister, out of the ministry. Now there's a new minister called Bjarke. She's in charge of giving a decision whether or not whaling can happen this season or not. But it's such a sensitive time right now because actually the 5-year whaling license of Christian Lofson has been expired. So for the moment, the government doesn't need to buy anything back. They're just considering whether or not should be a new license or not. And they're trying to understand the solutions about it. Basically, under the rule of Vienna Convention, Iceland did a reservation, to IWC, but they actually didn't do very well. So Iceland has to give an answer why they are doing whaling and why they're doing it in such a wrong way that is against animal welfare laws. So now there's a new committee that has to give an answer and has to come up with a new maybe quota or say, no, we totally need to ban whaling. But that is after the season. So the answer of that committee comes in fall. And in the meanwhile, they have to decide whether or not to give a permit for this season. But if it takes long enough, he cannot go hunting because he cannot hire the workers, he cannot prepare the boats for hunting. So I think what this minister is doing is actually buying time a little bit. So the season is off until this committee comes with an answer or maybe ban whaling for good. And what people can do is to just add as much pressure as possible. So we have a petition that people can sign. We have now a campaign, like an email campaign to all the ministers of Iceland, but that is like AI generating. So people can, with one click, just send a different email in a different format to to these ministers. And basically, these are the biggest things that we can. And then just write on the social media, especially Facebook. I can give you all of the social media, handles that you can just use, and just write from the bottom of your heart. Why do you want to save the whales? And it's going to matter a lot. We also have a campaign of children sending letters, just purely what they feel about it. I can also give you the address of the ministry.
Yeah, we'll link this below, you guys, so you have the details. And what are some social media pages people can follow as well to stay up to date?
Yes, exactly. And because this time is so sensitive, if we can put pressure, I mean, just put a positive pressure on the minister to not reissue a new license, this can be the end of whaling in Iceland. But if there is a new license, that would mean 5 more years of whaling, and that will mean 750 fin whales. And this is something that we cannot lose. This is a very important moment. So I encourage everyone just to take a few minutes and take an action. It's for the benefit of all of us.
Oh my gosh. Yes. No, we will definitely be doing that. And I can even do a video of me doing it to show people this is how easy it is. It takes a few minutes, sign that. Absolutely. Like, petitions are so important. And like, we have the responsibility as the citizens to share what we wish, and also to protect the other earthlings. So there's, speaking of quotas, right? And speaking of what is a quota, and what happened in 2006 where they set quotas for whale hunts? Do you know about that? I think it was like they set over 100 whales.
Over 100, yeah, over 150 whales. Basically, fin whales are endangered species, right? In all the organizations that are announcing its status. But there apparently has been a lobbying with IUCN to lower the status from endangered to vulnerable, and recently least concern in Iceland. And we did a research, and we realized that the last counting that has been done was in 2012. And based on that counting, actually the numbers of the fin whales in this area has been lowered 60%. So we're in communication with IUCN that how is it possible that with this dramatic drop of the fin whale numbers, how is it possible that now they have moved it to least concern? And the people who are responsible of discounting, the organization that's responsible for discounting, is NAMCO. Basically, is the organization of 4 countries that are still doing whaling, and they are getting their money. They're getting their profit out of killing whales. They are the people who are counting, and they are the people who are announcing the numbers of the status of the fin whales. Because of this, only because of the status from IUCN, they realized if we kill 150 whales per year, still the number will stay vulnerable, which is hilarious. How can you kill a vulnerable species? Even if we agree that it's a vulnerable species, how can you kill the vulnerable one? It's just insane. It has been proven that 90% of the fin whale population has been decimated from the pre-industrial level. They cannot fulfill their role in ecosystem unless they go back to that number again.
Right, right. So, okay, let's say that there were hundreds of thousands of whales in the waters and they were overpopulated. Even what would you say to somebody then that would come at you and be like, well, it's okay to kill them because they're overpopulated? What would your answer be?
My answer would be that we are killing gods. We are killing gods. How dare we do that?
Yes.
This is insanity. And as Christian Vala, a professor of sustainability, was saying that they're living up to 250 years. And they found a whale that's older than the US. It's like 500 years. It's insane. We are killing our ancestors. We are killing our grandparents. We are killing creature that has been here millions of years, and we've been here with just like 100 and something thousand years, you know. It's We are killing gods, and we have to stop it.
Right. And it's like, who are we to play, nature patrol and the overpopulation, like we need to come in. It's like it's just an excuse. And also I was reading online too that they try to stand behind the indigenous people and they use like indigenous people as an excuse to continue their behavior. Can you talk a little bit about that? I mean, I don't think I agree with anybody killing whales, but like,
Yeah.
how is the government trying to say, well, oh, we're working with the indigenous folks?
Well, indigenous rights is such a sensitive topic to touch, because we're talking about a population that their livelihood like depends on this kind of hunting, and they are living in a situation that is just completely connected to the nature, and depends on the nature. Although I do not agree that we should kill any sentient being, but there is a topic that it's untouchable for the moment, at least,
Right.
you know.
That's right.
And but what Iceland is doing is commercial whaling. So if you are gonna kill to consume, or if this is part of your livelihood and your life depends on it, that's the only time that you can arguably say that we need this to survive. But there is no need for it. No Icelandic people are eating it. All the meat is being shipped to Japan, so everything is being sold, and there's also a loss of it. There's so much waste, and there's so much meat that still is in the freezer. So what they're doing in the NAMCO organization, they are gathering all the people, and they hide behind the people from Greenland and Faroes, for example. They try to say we are trying to protect them, but what happens in reality is that they are abusing them again. They are just taking advantage of their valid reason to hunt the whales, to just like give validation for what they are doing, to justify what they are doing, which is like absolutely like insane.
Right. No, it's insane. It's I hate when people use, indigenous rights as an excuse to continue their own behavior that actually has nothing to do with what the indigenous people are doing. So even if, let's say, the government stuck to the quotas and the numbers that they actually killed, can you explain why we are not able to trust them?
Dakota.
Can you explain how they are an industry that polices themselves?
Yeah, I mean, there has, as I said, there has been a lot of corruption going on behind the scenes of um, just creating the whole creating of the quota system for species that are very stressed, very endangered, and has been decimated 90% of its population. There you cannot announce any quota, but always everything goes with the benefit of, you have to understand which organization are benefiting from this, and who has the political power to move, to play the right cards to get the answer from that. When you go through all these numbers, you will see how they are lost in the paperwork from one organization to another one. And it's just it's so obvious that these numbers are made up, basically. And this quota system cannot exist to a population that is so stressed. Recently there's been a research that shows humpback whales are dying because of the lack of krills. So we are losing mass population of whales because of climate change already. We cannot afford to lose more, and these numbers are just insane. These quotas are totally meaningless. They don't mean anything.
So when you did your speak out a few weeks or months ago, your first line was that whales take our second breath.
Every second breath that we take is by the whales. We cannot talk about sustainability when 90% of the fin whales have been decimated.
What does that mean? And why is it important to save the whales?
Okay, so something that's called whale pump, so whales, because they travel from oceans to oceans, and they can go 2 kilometers down and then come up. They're constantly moving nutritions from different parts of the world to the other one, and also from the bottom of the ocean to the surface. And they're feeding phytoplanktons, and phytoplanktons are really critical for as a carbon sequestration, and they are producing oxygen.
Mm.
So we know that the majority, I mean, the trees are not creating so much oxygen. The oceans are creating, basically, the phytoplanktons are creating oxygen. And without whales, we cannot breathe. Without whales, we cannot survive. And I don't know why we cannot just do these simple calculations. Every second breath that we take, we owe it to the whales.
Wow.
We will not survive without them.
Wow. Thank you for saying that and sharing that. I mean, your speak out was so powerful. I have chills just thinking about it. Can you talk about what that action was like for you? Were you nervous? What was going through your head?
No, I mean, I think when you start a path, of course, in the beginning, it's really scary for you to say, like, I'm going against these people, they're not gonna like me. But in my case, I am in another country, I'm not speaking the language, I'm an immigrant myself, I don't have enough documents. If I get arrested, I can be deported, and even in Iran, I can go to jail because I'm not even allowed to go back to Iran. So the anxiety of it is always there, but as you just like walk into this path and you speak more and more the truth that you feel, the more, like, kind of, you become fearless. It fuels you, you
Yes.
just realize that I want to do that more often, so when I stood up, I first was like, sorry, I need to interrupt, and then everybody started to clap, and I was just like, I'm not alone, I can do this. And
Yeah.
then they tried to just, like, of course, they called the police. 2 police cars showed up, and I could get arrested again, but like they just let us go because we left after I finished the speech. And I think I was not scared at all. I think for the moment I felt like this is freedom. This is how life should be. You be speaking for the speechless, for the you speaking you speaking for the voiceless. You are defending something that worth defending, that just, I don't know how else would you live your life if you're not going to do that.
Absolutely. I feel the same way. It's like, what is life worth living without a purpose and without trying to uplift the lives of others? I think that's a huge
Yeah.
of of life. And one of my favorite yoga quotes is, the happiest people are the ones who uplift the lives of others. And so it is very true. Well, I'm like, so I feel so honored to meet you, to speak with you, to learn about this pressing issue. And as we begin to wrap things up, why don't you just tell everybody again where they can find you, what resources they can follow, and the first or second step that they could take to helping?
Amazing. Well, my social media account is anahita.earth. We have 2 campaigns. One is called Kvalavinir, which is the Icelandic campaign. You can find it in social media. And the international social media is called Last Whaling Station. You can find also information on the website about everything that we're doing, and all, like, mostly on the social media account that we have. And yeah, I'm just going to add also all the information about the call to action that people can take. And yeah, and then, well, that's it. What else did you ask? I'm
That's
also
amazing.
hungry.
No, that's great. I think some activists, we feel a little scatterbrained because it's like, oh my gosh, there's, billions of cows, chickens, and pigs dying every year. There's, animals locked up in zoos, there's laboratories. It's like, where do we focus our attention? It's like very overwhelming. So can you just share your advice, or why you are so adamant about focusing on this issue in particular?
Well, I had a very interesting conversation with this friend of mine that we are doing the film together. I almost actually died because my hair got tangled in a fishnet trying to save a fish from illegal, yeah, like a fishnet. And he was really angry and he asked me, we are here filming. We're trying to change the world by showing the reality. And I said, like, no, you save the animals, animal by animal, and you always start with that animal that is in front of you. You don't have to go to another place and save that animal, or like just like that industry, just in front of you. Unfortunately, everywhere you look, there is an animal that is suffering. Just to start with that, you don't have to plan for anything big. And if you can't do that, then that's it, that's the solution, you know. And then, as I said, I was just like sitting in a cafe and I read this story about Iceland. I just felt like this is what is in front of me. And it's also very important. I've been always like, of course, I've been an animal activist for the last 5 years. And it's so hard sometimes, of course, to communicate when it comes to veganism, you know. But then you have to start somewhere. Start from the animals that maybe our livelihood depends on, you know, and start, because I mean, it's just, well, they're so big that you cannot really actually just sweep it under the carpet.
Yeah.
They're just too big. And if you can't do that, you can't really save any other animals.
Mhm.
So there was also, for me, there was this power that, yes, if we can save the world, they're symbolic for so many other things, you know.
It connects to many things. Well, thank you for everything that you're doing. I'm so glad that we have connected. And I have so many ideas of things that I want to also work on to help get the message out there. Is there a specific date that people can look out for to find out about? I'm going to put this episode out the first week of May. So
Okay, that would be amazing. Yes, I mean the whaling season starts in June basically. So whatever we do, it's better to do it in like by mid-May. So if you're, and we should have an answer by then. That's what we're expecting. We hope that she doesn't give an answer till the end of summer, so he can never go whaling. But we're expecting that she's gonna give an answer by mid-May. So do whatever you can do, like as soon as possible. And yeah, let's hope we don't hear any bad news in June.
okay, amazing. Well, you are the best. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you everybody.
Thank you so much.
My gosh, I'm so glad that stuff could connect us. And yeah, we're going to do whatever we can. And thank you guys for listening, for consistently speaking up for the animals and looking to get involved. You know where to find me. I'm at It's Jamie's Corner. Go follow Anahita and all her pages, which I will link below. And until next time, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, saving the world. Stop this recording.